Now, while GDP growth remains under pressure, it's important to keep in mind that SMEs contribute an estimated 40% to the country's economic growth. And with digital tools reshaping the retail landscape, innovations around customer analytics, e-commerce platforms, and mobile payment solutions are a major boost for SMEs. Technology adoption provides smaller players in the retail space access to more consumers and the ability to transact seamlessly. And with the peak festive shopping season upon us, Norman Nyawo, Head of Merchant Solutions for Business and Commercial Banking at Standard Bank SA, joins us with greater perspective on this. Norman, thanks so much for joining us today. Now, we literally live in a digital world. Everything is done on our phones, on our laptops. We make most of our transactions on our devices. So I guess what to keep in mind here is that it's imperative for small businesses to keep or stay in touch or keep up to date with technology adoptions or advancements, right?
Correct. Yeah, so I think at Standard Bank, what we've recently launched is a solution we call Simply Blue, which really empowers the small business to have a digital solution for payments acceptance. So in essence, what we actually offer is a all-in-one payment solution that the merchant can download a merchant app via the Android or iOS Play Store, and really it's got a built-in inventory and stock management system, which really allows them to compete and to actually gain more products and capabilities for to run their business.
I can imagine that investing in digital technologies is quite costly, and for small companies that struggle with funding and just staying liquid, how are we mitigating that in particular, considering that the costs are usually high?
Yeah, so cost is what I think was an important kind of problem statement when we came up with the solution. So in essence, the solution itself, as I mentioned, comes with a free app. It's free. So obviously, so it will cost the SME not much in that front, and some of the value-added services that come with it are also free. So we really try to take away some of the strain and the pain that comes with running a small business. And also, additionally, what we've done is we've added different ways to procure the device. So in essence, you can buy the device outright or you can rent the device. So we've really tried to look at how we can have different propositions that can serve different types of SMEs that find themselves in different phases of a business.
Let's talk about access. How accessible are these products to these small players?
Access is quite important. I think we've made it quite easy for the SMEs to access the solution. So in essence, as the merchant is navigating our platform, they just go on to www.standardbank.co.za/Simply Blue, and in essence, they'll be able to apply for a POS, a point of sale offering, which is the Simply Blue solution. And in essence, the next day they'll get the device and solution delivered.
We can't forget that these players are operating in a very competitive environment, not just facing local competition, but as well as international competition. We have players like Temu, like Amazon, like Shein also coming in. How do businesses then like this remain competitive in this competitive environment, considering that the other players have bigger capital?
Yeah. So, and I think it's difficult. I think, as you rightly said, there's a lot of of external or international players that are flooding the market with solutions. So what we've done as well with this solution is we've built in an instant e-commerce capability, which in essence allows the small the small business to really be able to have this e-commerce capability at the touch of the fingers. So the idea really is that we want to make sure that they don't have to to go anywhere else to get an e-commerce capability. Mm-hmm. They'll in essence be able to get it all in one.
I mean, we just come from a really big spending season, which was Black Friday. From some of the data that you've seen come through at Standard Bank, what does it look like? Are we seeing consumers actually really spending, considering that we're in an environment with low growth? We just got, GDP numbers out today, contracting 0.3%. Yes, the two-part monies are in the system, but are we actually seeing consumers spend, and perhaps are we seeing the small players getting a piece of that pie?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Black Friday just passed. We have seen, an increase definitely in spend from the consumers. And as you rightly said, there's factors for that, the two-part system. And also if you look at when Black Friday was last year, it was on the 24th. This year it's on the 29th. So obviously that plays a role quite significantly in the funds that will be available, given that most pay runs would have run. So we did see an increase in spend, and the volume that went through, I think our point of sale and acquiring solutions, we saw double-digit growth, which was, I think, fantastic. So definitely we can see that the average consumer is spending, especially at SMEs, and it's a positive sign. And hopefully, I think, as we get into the festive season, I think that should continue. And especially with the interest rates also, there's some relief coming through there. We definitely expect an increase in spend.
Not forgetting those lower inflation numbers that we've also been receiving as well.
Definitely.
Can you pinpoint what consumers are actually spending on? I find it very interesting because what we've been seeing throughout the months, even when you look at that retail print from Stats SA, consumers are spending on essentials. Is that theme still playing out?
Definitely, yeah. So what we saw with, especially just over Black Friday, we saw an increase. The sectors that we saw a major increase was the retail sector, which includes, groceries and also, shopping, clothing and so forth. Yeah. So definitely, I think we're seeing that the average consumer is starting to spend, especially at your tier one kind of retail stores, which is a good sign, because I think that means that the consumers are starting to release a bit, and hopefully, as you said, that continues as we go into festive.
And with some of the data that has come through post Black Friday, we've been hearing from many banks, right? Many banks talking about the amount of transactions going through. I guess they're just pointing to the strength of e-commerce at the moment, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've seen, the last couple of years, the e-commerce growth in the country has been phenomenal. We've seen double-digit growth, I think, from 2021, and we're seeing that payment rail grow significantly. And I think that's why, as Standard Bank, we've really invested in bringing a very cost-effective solution in Simply Blue, which allows the SMEs and your businesses to really be able to go and get a solution and be able to participate in the market. As you mentioned, there's the likes of Shein, Temu, there's big players out there now. So for it to be open for the smaller guys, it's quite important for them to have access to these tools.
Norman, I mean, we can't not mention the challenges or talk about the challenges that comes with doing business online, as well as the risks. So what are some common security risks that SMEs face when adopting new technologies? There's a spike of cybersecurity cases as well within the country. So how are we mitigating that?
You're 100% right. I think fraud, cybersecurity is massive in payments, and I think it's imperative that any solution that a small business wants to acquire must take care of this. So what we've done, I think, with our solution is we have to adhere to what we call payment card industry data security standards, commonly known as PCI DSS. There's rigorous penetration testing that we send our solutions through, and particularly the Simply Blue solution. That's really just make sure that the solution is robust and it covers there's an opportunity for fraudsters to try and penetrate the system.
Thanks so much for joining us. That was Norman Nyawo, Head of Merchant Solutions for Business and Commercial Banking at Standard Bank SA.